Hi, I'm Alexandra Semenova. I'm a reporter with Bloomberg Law, and I'm here with one of our senior legal editors, Andrew Hubley. It's been less than 5 years since Michael Dell announced his decision to take the company that he founded in his college dorm private in a $25 billion deal. Now Dell announced its plans to go back to the public markets, but in a way that's a bit unconventional. So Andrew, Dell is going to be a publicly traded company again, but they're not doing this through an IPO. Can you explain this?
Yeah, so they're not doing it as an IPO. In fact, they're doing it in sort of a complicated, unusual way. So most people are probably aware that Dell acquired EMC for $67 billion in 2016. So as part of that acquisition, they acquired an 80% stake in VMware. The rest of VMware is publicly traded. As part of funding that acquisition, they issued shares in a tracking stock that tracks the VMware shares. And so what they're going to do here is they're going to issue Dell Class C shares, and they're going to make an offer to the holders of the VMware tracking stock. So the VMware tracking shareholders are going to have the opportunity to either take $109 in cash or take about 1.4 shares of Dell Class C stock. And that Class C stock, which is currently privately held, will be registered on a 34 Exchange Act registration statement, and it'll be publicly traded on the New York Stock Exchange. So a little bit of an unusual way to go public. You're right that this is not an IPO. So Dell's not issuing new shares, and they're not. They're issuing Class C shares, but they're not going public with a new offering, and they also aren't getting proceeds for the shares. So they're not bringing any money in through this transaction.
So it seems like Dell has an interesting way of doing things. Isn't the company still involved in ongoing litigation about their decision to go private?
Yes, as a matter of fact, the Delaware Supreme Court just this past December issued a decision in that case where they extended their analysis that they made in a previous case, DFC Global. In the DFC Global case, what they had said was that if there's an open arm's length negotiation process in the sale of a public company, that the deal price in the transaction should be given substantial weight. They declined to make a bright line rule that deal price should be fair value, but they did say it should be given substantial weight. The Supreme Court in the Dell decision basically extended that rule to deals where there may have not been a substantial pre-signing market check, and even in cases involving a management buyout like the Dell situation was. The Delaware Chancery Court had articulated several reasons why they were concerned about relying on deal price, including the lack of a strategic buyer, the fact that Silver Lake, which is a financial sponsor, was involved in the transaction. And the Delaware Supreme Court went through the analysis and basically said, just because a deal involves a financial sponsor or just because there wasn't this massive pre-signing market check doesn't mean that the rule from DFC Global shouldn't apply. And the Supreme Court articulated several reasons why, including pointing out that in the Dell case, there was a go shop provision. And as part of the go shop, they actually reached out to 20 strategics. Only one really showed interest. It was Hewlett Packard, and they were given access to the data room and ultimately decided not to pursue the deal any further beyond that. So the Delaware Supreme Court, what they ultimately decided was they reversed and remanded to the Chancery Court, and they advised the Chancery Court to relook at the decision, and they did not order the Chancery Court to make deal price the fair value, but they said that if deal price isn't fair value, the Chancery Court needs to better articulate why it's not relying on deal price given the facts of this case.
So shifting gears a bit, what are some potential reasons for Dell to return to public markets?
There could be a lot of reasons why Dell is seeking to go public again. First of all, Dell's straddled with a lot of debt. So that has a number of impacts. One, by being a public company, they'll be able to reach out to the equity markets and raise additional money in the future. And then they may be able to use that money to pay down some of their debt. They have some debt and loans coming due in the next 12 to 18 months. So they may be able to reach out that way and be able to pay those down. Additionally, the tax bill may have hastened this a little bit. So the tax bill, as most people are familiar with at this point, has provisions that restrict the amount of interest that companies can deduct. And so that could have a factor in Dell's thinking, because they have a lot of debt and they take larger interest deductions. That restriction could be weighing on them, and they want to pay down some of their debt.
Okay, Andrew, thank you so much for your time.